Now, there are over 3.3 million Australian homeowners who, if they didn't wake with a headache this morning, they will have one now. The Reserve Bank Governor, as you've heard, has announced a further increase in interest rates of 25 basis points. Now, watch the banks pass it all on to battling mortgage holders. Some already have. Even though last year the Big Four made $28.5 billion in cash profits. Mind you, some say that the cash rate should have been even higher today, but today brings the rate to 3.35%. The banks will charge you any number above that. Most probably they'll go the whole hog. The cash rate was 0.1% last May. So borrowers will fork out, if it's a $500,000 loan, almost another $1,000 a month. And if the starting debt is $1 million, another $1,800 a month compared to what you were paying before the RBA began its unprecedented run of rate increases. Where then does the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Philip Lowe, stand? This is the bloke who thinks that climate change and the transition to renewable energy are critical to the future of the Australian economy. My advice is don't rely on this bloke's judgement. He's the bloke behind the decision to scrap King Charles III from the $5 note and replace it with a new design that, quote, honours the culture and history of first Australians. What about the other Australians? This is the bloke who misled millions of Australians on the critical issue of interest rates, a mistake that's plunged millions of households into mortgage stress and financial turmoil. Now get this. In March 2021, Governor Lowe said he believed that the official cash rate, the rate that determines the interest you pay on your mortgage, would remain at the historic low of 0.1%, quote, at least until 2024. Australians believed him. Hundreds of thousands of Australians took on large mortgages to buy their dream home, seeking to take advantage of low interest rates. And the Governor's promise that they'd remain low, he thought, at least until 2024. And Lowe failed to keep the promise. His judgment was rubbish. Since April last year, the Reserve Bank has hiked interest rates at perhaps the fastest rate in recorded history, from 0.1% to where it is today, 3.35%. The ramifications for mortgage holders, 35% of the 9.8 million Australians who own a home, the ramifications are profound. As the price of fuel, food, electricity and travel continue to soar, monthly mortgage repayments have increased by over 40% in fewer than 9 months. It bears repeating. The largest bill the average household pays is its monthly mortgage repayment, which has gone up by almost 50% in fewer than 9 months. We've had no apology from the Reserve Bank. All we've heard from Governor Philip Lowe is a demand that Australian workers accept a pay cut for the greater good. He said, and I quote, I know it's very difficult for people to accept the idea that wages don't rise with inflation and people are experiencing declines in real wages. That's tough. The alternative, that is a pay rise, is more difficult, unquote. The catch? Well, it doesn't look like Governor Lowe, who enjoys a $1 million plus taxpayer-funded salary, is going to take a pay cut himself. So after plunging hundreds of thousands of Australians into mortgage stress and then telling workers to cop a pay cut, the man won't take one himself. The question that needs answering is this: are these rate hikes working? Lowe says he wants to kill inflation, but the major causes of inflation in Australia have little to do with interest rates. Power prices are high because we're not allowed to build a new coal-fired power plant. And we're being forced to rely on weather-dependent, Chinese-made solar panels and wind turbines. Food prices are high because we can't build a dam to capture the flooding rains that have destroyed many of our crops over the last few years. Rents are high because red tape and green tape, along with 440,000 people added to our population last year, are pushing rents through the roof. Raising interest rates won't address any of these inflationary concerns, which prompts the important question. Lowe was wrong in the statement he made in March 2021 that historically low interest rates may persist until at least 2024. But is he wrong again? Because interest rate increases will not relieve pressure on the big cost of living concerns like energy, food and housing. Instead, these interest rate increases are burying the battler in more debt.